Sidney Poitier. Oh my gosh, Space Cadets! One of my favorite YouTubers is on, the Bloodthirsty Cannibal Gamer. Now he primarily makes review compilations of old retro video games. Let's watch! Hello, I'm the Bloodthirsty Cannibal Gamer, and I'm here to talk about retro video games. Today's episode is Arcade Ports on the NES Volume 1. Before we begin, please use one of your tasty fingers to push the subscribe button and set your notifications to all so you can get all of my videos. Okay, let's get into this. It's hard to think that Narc, a game about saying no to drugs and yes to extreme violence, was ported to the NES. I'm glad though, because it's a pretty good port. I thought the controls would be awful, but surprisingly they work. Hold down the A button for the machine gun and double tap A for the rockets. Hold B to duck and double tap B to jump. It works surprisingly well. The game seems just as hard as the arcade game. Sadly, you only get one continue, which I absolutely hate. But the gameplay is carried over pretty well, and you can still blow dudes up and see their fiery limbs fly all over the place. This is truly 8-bit carnage at its finest. Très magnifique. Now there are obvious limitations to the game because the technology is so minimal for the NES. Mainly this comes in the form of fewer enemies on screen, and graphics that don't compare. But they do try to make at least an NES version of all the stuff from the arcade game, like the computer console before each level, and the car, and the finger, as well as the screen where you can put in your initials. Many of the enemies have made it over to this port, like the trenchcoat guys, the clowns, and unfortunately the dogs. And if you're wondering, yep, there's weed in this game, and you can destroy a drug lab, and there's topless bars and adult bookstores, all in an NES game. The prostitutes are missing, but you do have the opportunity to get ran over by a pink Cadillac. Now that's classy. And should you be hurting for lives, you can just bust all the trenchcoat guys on the bridge. I'm actually surprised at how good of a port this actually is. Arkanoid is a game I'm terminally bad at. It, like Breakout, I think. I haven't played Breakout. I've seen it. This looks like Breakout, right? So Arkanoid is a fun game, don't get me wrong. I enjoyed my time with it, but damn is it hard. It really seems like I can't get better at it no matter how hard I try. I don't know what the problem is. To play the game, you have to bat a ball back and forth against a bunch of bricks using this paddle down here. As you hit the bricks, they vanish. There are 3 lives and no continues, and the no continues thing is the greatest of annoyances. I'd say it's the biggest flaw in this game. You do get power-ups that help you out, and you get a lot of them too. One makes the paddle bigger, one breaks the ball into 3 balls, which does me no good because I always lose the other 2 balls. There's a power-up that allows you to catch the ball and throw it back. And then there's the power-up that lets you shoot lasers, and this power-up changes the whole feel of the game. Now you're in it to win it and can just murder everything on screen. However, it does turn all the other power-ups into enemies that you try to avoid, which generally leads me to dying. The funniest part about this whole game is that there's actually a story. In an unknown time, the spaceship Arkanoid crash lands and another ship, Vanus, scrambles out of it. Space is warped or something, and I guess this paddle is supposed to be a spaceship. Weird shit, good game. Did you know that there was a Roadrunner arcade game, and that arcade game was ported to the NES? I was very surprised when I found this. It's not a bad game either. It captures the basic premise of the cartoon. Roadrunner and Coyote go boom, and that's the game. You play as Roadrunner, evading Wile E. Coyote, who for some reason is piss yellow on the title screen. But yeah, you evade the Coyote. The speed meter at the top is how fast you go and your stamina, and once it's gone, you like stand still and vibrate or shake or something. You just have to get to the end of the level following the roadways, which can sometimes be maze-like, and you also have to avoid that pesky Coyote, who is completely tenacious. You can keep your stamina up by eating birdseed, but that means having to dodge that damn coyote, who has a multitude of gadgets to catch you with, like rockets or that damn flying hat for instance. He even throws dynamite at you, the sick bastard, but if you evade him long enough, his gadgets will blow up in his face. just like in the cartoon. The levels provide hazards also, sometimes in the form of trucks that come at you, or cannons that fire at you, or holes you gotta jump over. It's a surprisingly fun game for a Roadrunner game. I like it, and I would recommend it if you find it. Tiger Heli is a shmup. I haven't played many shmups on the NES, but this one seems alright. It's made by Taito, and it's incredibly hard. My main two complaints with this game is that I can't move into the top fourth of the screen, which makes dodging enemy fire from below very, very hard, and often I'll get killed because I can't utilize all the space on the screen. It pisses me the hell off. The other complaint is that my bullets have a limited reach. Like, I don't know why I can't shoot things farther in front of me. What kind of sick weirdo would limit the reach of your bullets? In a shmup of all things. There are also no continues in this game, which is horrible. I hate it. Gameplay wise, it's a fun game, standard shooter. You have your main shot and a giant bomb attack. Sometimes when I'm playing this, I get hit and I automatically drop a bomb. I don't know why that is. It perplexes me completely. Sometimes my HUD will say I have no bombs, and then I'll drop one. I don't get it. Much of the first level, you destroy what looks like a residential area. No, I just made my last payment. There should be a game just called Mass Murder where you fly around just destroying things. Anyway, Tiger Heli, it ain't a bad game. It's like $10. I'd recommend it. Spy Hunter on the NES. It's a game I really like, but it's also a game that really frustrates me. It's you driving a super sports car doing spy shit. It's a car game based on every car chase sequence from every James Bond movie ever. Controls are simple. Up makes you go fast and down makes you go slow. B shoots your machine guns, and A will let you use another weapon you can only get when you drive up into a truck that's also on the roadway. You can tell these trucks because they'll have a little picture of the weapon you're going to use on it. Sometimes it'll be rockets, sometimes it'll be smoke screens, sometimes it'll be an oil slick, etc., etc. Now, these special weapons are limited, and it's sad. It makes me very sad that they're limited, because they are very useful. You get enemies on the road and in the air trying to kill you. There's also civilians on the road you have to dodge. Shoot them and you lose points. Hit them and you explode. You actually explode a great deal in this game. Go off the road for too long and you explode. Hit another car, and you explode. Get hit by dynamite, and you explode. Oh yeah, and somebody needs to tell Sunsoft that if you're going a gajillion miles an hour in a sports car and you rear-end a motorcycle, the guy on the motorcycle dies and you keep going. Not the other way around. My chief complaints are the limited firing distance for your machine gun, no continues, and no pause button. Having no pause button is a pain in the ass. I just want to take a break every once in a while from the high-speed octane spy action, and I can't. I can't do it unless I frickin' die. All this being said, the game is enjoyable though. It's just a matter of learning when to speed up and slow down and when to use your weapons. Sometimes your best strategy for evading enemies is to slow way down and let them outpace you on the screen. Overall, I mean, it's very difficult, but with practice, I could probably be good at it, and it's a really cool premise. I suppose I like it, despite the frustration. Elevator Action, a classic, ported over to a classic system. Now, in Elevator Action, you're a spy breaking into a building via a zip line. The goal is to get to the bottom of the building and go into all of the red doors you come across on the way down. You use the elevators and stairs to do this. Along the way, you're being pursued by guys in black who are shooting at you. You can duck and jump to dodge their fire, and you've got this handgun that fires like a machine gun to defend yourself with. It's really fun to shoot. I just shoot it constantly for the hell out of it, just because it's so fun to fire. Once you get to the bottom of the building, you speed off in your car. Unless, of course, you missed a red door. Then you go back to the top, to the highest door you missed, and do it all over again. Oh joy. Now this is a fun game, but to be honest, there really isn't enough there to hold my attention. It's just too simple for me, you know? Oh, and it has no continues, which sucks. But if you're looking for a simple game from that very, very ancient era of arcade games, this one might be for you. And the last game on this list for today is Section Z by Capcom. And surprisingly enough, I don't suck at this game. Can you believe that? It's a goddamn miracle. So it's a shooter. You get this cool little opening, then you fly in and look cool, and when the game starts proper, you get this cutscene, and I have no idea what's happening, but your character shows up and then speeds off like he's going to kick someone's ass. So it's a shmup where you fly down corridors, shooting things and getting things shot at you. It's pretty simple. A shoots to the right and B shoots to the left. You can pick up speed boosts and other weapons you can use to fight enemies, and the best part is that there are continues. However, you do sometimes get flung back to the beginning of the level. It's a pretty fun game, and I enjoy it a lot. I recommend. That's it. I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bloodthirsty Cannibal Gamer. If you like to get more videos like this, please check out the Patreon and become a supporter. Thank you.